Now we'll proceed with column operation. In first column we have 0, so the same column will get, that is infinity, 9, 14, 0, then 2. In second column we don't have 0, the lowest element is 5, so 13 minus 5, 8, and next infinity minus 5 is infinity, 7 minus 5 is 2, 12 minus 5 is 7, and 5 minus 5 is 0. Then in the third column we have 0, so we write down that as it is, that is 0, 3, 8, 3, infinity, 14 and 12. And in the fourth column zeros are there, so we will write down as it is, and in the last column we will find 1 as the least element, so 8 minus 1, 7 will write, 24 minus 1, 23, 9 minus 1, 8, 1 minus 1, 0, infinity minus 1, infinity. So once this column operation is over, what we are going to do is, as usually, we are going to make allocation. So as we know, we start with single zero row for allocating. That single zero row is, in first row we will check there is a single zero, so in the third column, so we will mark it with box, and we will check for any zeros, no zeros are there. Then we will go for second. In second row we have 1 0, so we will mark that with box, and we will check for zeros, and there are 2 zeros, we will strike it off. Then we will go for third, there are no zeros. In fourth we have 2 zeros with infinities. In the fourth we have 1 0, we have marked it. Once zeros, this operation is over, then we go for column checking. So single zero is here in the first column, we mark it, and we will check for any zeros in column checking. So there is 1 0 we have cancelled. So actually we require 5 places to be allocated to identify the root. But here, since we have got only 4 allocations and 1 place is not allocated, so what we need to do is we have to draw lines passing through all the zeros of the matrix or table, but they should be as minimum as possible number of lines, because once we have got those lines, then we will identify, as we have discussed earlier, we have 3 types of elements. Elements through which one line passes, elements through which no line passes, elements through which are where the 2 lines pass. That means there is an intersection of lines that takes place, and the elements which were not striken off or no line passes through, among them we have to identify the least element, and that least element has to be subtracted from the elements which are not striken off, and the table has to be rewritten in such a way where single line passes through them we will write down as it is, where there is an intersection of lines we will add that minimum element to that element. So we will write next table by drawing the lines. Then we can further develop a table, and again we will try to make an allocation. If allocation comes, that is well and good. Otherwise, again we have to repeat the same procedure. Now we are writing the same in the table where we could not complete assignment, and we'll draw the lines. for developing a next table. So these are the elements as it is we are writing. Then we'll draw the lines, vertical or horizontal lines. It is the choice. We can draw a line horizontally or vertically wherever we wish, but such that no zeros are left without striking off. That means a line should pass through all zeros. We'll check this. So here we'll draw a line which will pass through this. So here in the last row we'll find that there are 2 zeros, so we'll write like we'll strike it off. And in the third column also we have 2 more zeros to be striken off, so we'll write like this. That means they are passing through. So again there are 2 zeros in the fourth row, so we'll draw a line which will pass through these, and we have 1 more zero left in the third column, so we'll write only 1 zero is left here in the table, so we'll draw 1 more line, so there are no zeros left. And now we have to check for the elements which are not striken off to identify the lowest element. You can see these are the elements which are not striken off. So we see that the element 2 is the lowest value. So we have to subtract this from the elements which are not striken off. So we will develop another table for allocation. Now based on the previous lines drawn, we are going to develop another table. That is 2 has to be subtracted from elements which are not striken off. 8 minus 2, 6, and 0 as it is we write because one line has passed through. 3 as it is we write because line passed through. 7 minus 2, 5. Then 9 minus 2, 7. Infinity minus 2, infinity. 3 as it is because line has passed. Again 0, line has passed. 23 minus 2, 21. Then 14 minus 2, 12. Then 2 minus 2, 0. Infinity minus 2, infinity. Then 0 because line passed. And 8 minus 2, 6. 0. 7 because line has passed through. 14, there is an intersection of lines. One horizontal line and one vertical line is going. So 14 plus 2, 16 we have, right? Here also one infinity where lines are come, but anyhow infinity plus anything is infinity only. So one line passes through 0, we write 0 as it is. And then we'll see line passes through 2 as it is we write. And here what we need to draw is 0. Actually, so after 2 we have 1 0, and then we have 12 is there. 12 plus 2 is 14. So then here there is another intersection. This becomes 0 plus 2. It becomes 2. Then it is infinity. So now we'll check for the allocation. In the same table we will see. So for single 0 rows we'll check. There is a 0. We have marked it with bars, and then there are no zeros in the column. So we will go for second row. There is a 0. So here we are going to write here box, mark it with box. So after this is over, we check for zeros. We have striken out this. Then we will check, go for fourth row. the third row where we have to mark it with 0. So when we are marking it with 0, because the 0 was taken off, we don't take this into consideration, and here we treat this as single 0, and any corresponding zeros have to be striken off in the column. That is done. Now we go to 4th row. In 4th row, we cannot make any kind of allocation because there are 2 zeros are there. Then we'll see in 5th row there is no 0 available. Now column wise operation. In column, first column we have single 0, so we'll mark it with box, right, square box, and we'll check for single 0, any zeros in the row, and we find that is 0. We have striken off. Now also we see there are only 4 allocations. That means the same table has to be taken again, put with or again we have to draw the lines, again develop a table, and then again try for allocation. So we'll proceed that way. Now we'll take the same table and draw the lines through all the zeros with minimum possible number of lines.